Good morning, saints, and welcome to the Dixon's Devotions. This morning we are going to be looking at Psalms chapter 35. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where people trying to plan and devise against you, trying to bring you down, trying to set you up, trying to doing things to make you look bad, to slander you, to malign you, to impugn your integrity? Someone who have such hatred for you that they muster up all kind of devices, schemes to malign, to dishonor, to discredit, and to bring you down. So it is with David in this psalm, in Psalms chapter 35. David was running from Saul, even though he was faithful and loyal to Saul. But when the eye of jealousy took hold of Saul, that's why the Bible used terms such as, and Saul eyed David from that day on, to the point that Saul became possessed in destroying David. Instead of taking care of the business of the kingdom, his number one priority was to destroy David. In the Psalms, we are going to look at David's description, the things that Saul tried to do to destroy him, but yet David was praying that God will thwart and God will stop and God will expose the plans of King Saul. Now, this psalm is divided into three areas. From verse 1 to verse 10 is the first section, and from verse 11 to verse 18 is the second section, and from verse 19 to verse 29 is the third section. Each section ends with David trying to give praise to God. Like in verse 10, all my bones shall say, O Lord, who is like you, delivering the poor from him who is too strong for him, the poor and needy from him who robs him. And in verse 19, it said, let not those rejoice over me who are wrongfully my foes, and let not those wink their eyes who hate me without cause. I will thank you in the great congregation, in the mighty throne I will praise you. That's verse 18. In verse 28, then my tongue shall tell of your righteousness and of your praise all the day long. So right here we see how the psalm is divided, and the first part of the psalm is describing why David's enemy needs to be stopped and why God needs to intervene. First of all, David was one man and Saul has the army of Israel, so he was against a strong man. As he said, they contend against him, they fight against him. You see words from verse 1 to verse 2, you see words like that, contend, they fight against him. And he said, Lord, you take hold of their shield, draw their spear and their javelin. And he said, say to my soul, I am your salvation. David was asking God, one, fight my battle, defend me, take care of their shield, take care of their javelins, be my buckler, rise up and help me. And Lord said to me, give something in my soul. David is pleading, Lord, say something into my soul that you are my salvation. Give me comfort, let me know that. And verse 4, let them be put to shame and dishonor who seek after my life. Let them be turned back and be disappointed. So he is describing, Lord, I want you to do this for me. Why I want you to stop them? Because they're trying to destroy me. Let them be turned back and disappointed who devise evil against me. Have you ever been in a situation when people, blatantly devise evil, plan evil against you for no reason? Let them be like a chaff before the wind. And David was asking for his angel to stop their plan, his angel to put them in a dark place when they try to do evil that they cannot see, that they himself slip when they try to plan. For without cause they hid their nets for me. Lord, you know that they're setting traps without cause. When I'm not watching, they're setting traps. It's like they're putting traps in the ground, so when you walk into it. And you know, people try to set traps, set you up, make you look bad, to expose you, put you in situations so that you could look bad. And he said, without cause they dug a pit for my life. People trying to dig pit for you. And David is saying, Lord, the same pit that they're digging, let them fall in it. The same trap that they're setting, let the trap catch them. Let destruction come upon him when he does not know it. And let the net that he hid ensnare him. Let him fall into it to his dishonor. So David is saying, look, let them by their own scheme and their own device fall into their own scheme and their own devices. And then verse 9, he said, my soul will rejoice in the Lord, exulting in his salvation. All my bones shall say, O Lord, who is like you, delivering the poor. This is the first section, the first part of praise. For him who is too strong for him, the poor and the needy, for him who robs him. God is saying, deliver me, because from those who are too strong for me, the poor and the needy. Remember, at this time David was a little runt, a little boy. He only had one victory with Goliath, and Saul used to send him out on different expeditions. But David was a little poor man from the tribe of Judah, from the house of Jesse, very poor. And because of that act, he was able to be in Saul's presence. But Saul wanted, who was the king, tried to kill this young man. And verse 11, not only the trap that they tried to set for him, but look at the malicious wickedness rise up. They set up malicious wickedness to discredit David. They asked me of things that I did not know. They tried to ask David things that he did not know. They repay me evil for good. My soul is bereaved. The good that I do for them, they pay me evil. And he said, David is saying from here, but when they were in this situation, when they were sick, I pray for them, I cry for them, I mourn for them, I do all these things for them, never turn against them. I help them, I defend them like they were my own brothers. When they were at their weakness, when they needed help, I went and I defend them, I helped them. But now I am down. This is how they repay me. Try to plot things against me, try to do evil against me. Have you ever had that happen to you? Someone you go out to defend and protect, and someone who you mourn for and who you try to help. Next thing, when they turn on you and try to bring you down. David said, this is my payment. This is my payment. But at my stumbling they rejoiced and gathered. They gathered together against me. Wretches whom I did not know tore at me without ceasing. Like profane mockers at a feast, they gnash at me with their teeth. That's verse 15 to verse 16. And David is saying, Lord, how long? How long would you look on and without rescuing me from these wretches? David called them wretches. And then from verse 20 on, for they do not speak peace, but against me. Those who are quiet in the land, they devise word of deceit. They open wide their mouth against me. They say, our eyes have seen it. Some people who were quiet in the land, who never used to talk, now they join in the mockers and say, we see it too. The same thing I said, a lot of times you see these quiet people who think they're so quiet and so easy, and they talk nice and they're quiet. These are the people, when things go wrong, they say, oh yes too, I see too, yeah. That's why sometimes it's hard to trust people. You have seen, O Lord, but not silent. O Lord, be not far from me. From verse 22. Awake and rouse yourself for my vindication, for my cause, my God and my Lord. Vindicate me, O Lord, my God, according to your righteousness, and let them not rejoice over me. let them not say in their hearts, our heart's desire. Let them not say, we have swallowed him up. Let them be put to shame and disappointed altogether, who rejoice at my calamity. Let them be clothed with shame and dishonor, who magnify themselves against me. Let those who delight in my righteousness shout for joy and be glad, and say evermore, great is the Lord, who delights in the welfare of his servants. So from verse 27 he's saying, those who rejoice with me, those who seek my good, let them rejoice. Lord, those who delight in my welfare, let them rejoice and sing. Then my tongue shall tell of your righteousness and your praise all the day long. So David is saying in the first, from verse 20 to verse 26, David was saying, Lord, put them to shame. Let them be ashamed. Lord, expose them. He said, even those people in the land who are quiet, they're joining in them at the end of the day and say, we see it too. But yet, they are being silent, the silent crowd, who sometimes you think are on your side, are just as deadly and dangerous as those who are outwardly speaking. Sometimes they call the silent majority, but sometimes, silent is also consent. If they are honest and they see things rightly, they should speak up and tell the truth, but sometimes say nothing. Silence is consent. And David in verse 27, he said, let those who are honest, those who are truthful, those who exactly know what going on, who was not bribed to be part of the coup, who are not bribed to be part of the gang to try to destroy me. David said, let them rejoice and let them delight in the welfare of his servant. Then David said, then my tongue shall tell of your righteousness. David is trying to rejoice with the Lord, but he said, Lord, I want to praise you, I want to. But in the situation, Lord, my tongue, I can't. Help me, Lord, because this thing is too great for me. Lord, vindicate my cause. Saints, we go through this situation, but remember, God is on our side in spite of. Find a way to praise God. Find a way even to pray and ask God to deliver you, to expose the evil that is done against you. And He will. In time, He will. And when He do it great. As one person said, the mill of God grinds slow but sure. In other words, God is grinding the salt to a powder slowly. Those people think they're getting away, but the mill of God grinds slow but sure. Remember this, people try to destroy us in three ways that the psalmist brought out right here, in spite of what you're going through. When they cannot, first attack is the physical attack. So when we look at from verse 1 to verse 10, they send spears and javelins, set nets. That's physical attack. The next attack from verse 11 right up to verse 18 deal with the words. When they cannot get you physically, to intimidate you and try to hurt you physically, they slander you, they malign you, they spread rumors against you. They say sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can't do me no harm. Not true, especially today when we have social media. It was back then in David time. Imagine now. So we see they try to slander, they try to discredit words. So a lot of time words hurt more than the physical attack. And you said people you can destroy you by the death of 1,000 cuts. The more they bring up all kind of slander against you, people tend to believe. And then from verse 20 right down to verse 28, we see we are now David is tried in the court of public opinion. Even those who keep silent, those who look on, you think they just those who just watching, all of a sudden now they start to believe what he's saying, and they start to say, yeah, I see this too, and I see that too, and I see that too. So the court of public opinion will try you, and that's what they use: the physical, the verbal, and the court of public opinion. So, ladies and gentlemen, David, a man of God, faced that. Jesus Christ also faced that with the scribe and the Pharisees too. Remember that. Remember, it's an old trick of the devil. And no matter what you're going through, trust God, and he will give you the tongue to praise him. But the beauty about it, just trust God and look, and you're going to see how God starts to pick off your enemies one by one. So saints, continue to trust him, continue to put your trust in him, and may the Lord bless you. Have a wonderful day.